Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here one more time. And this is the first day, January 1, 2021. So many of us are so excited about seeing 2020 in our rearview mirrors when we're leaving away from it. It was such an extraordinary year when we saw some of the worst things that could possibly happen to a country actually happen in our lifetime. Things that we've read about that happen in other countries, things that we hear that are happening in other countries, constant, that we are in such opposition towards. At least that's the message that we send abroad, but only to find ourselves experiencing those same types of situations during the year 2020. And without repeating any of that, I was awakened this morning at the news stating that the plan of Donald Trump and those who love Donald Trump above country and all else plan to attack the Biden administration by immediately trying to call for an impeachment. Well, while they know it perhaps won't work, but it'll do everything to prevent anything from happening within the Democratic Party. Basically, what that means, ladies and gentlemen, as you know how you were abused in the year 20. Now they're planning already to make sure that you, the people, because you are the ones, we, the people, are the ones that would be abused, that any type of action that is taken away from the smooth operation. And even though the Republicans might not do anything, the operation will be smoother than the past year, but it will not be smooth by any stretch of the imagination. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I say these things just to remind you that if these possibilities exist, that our lifestyle, that which we have missed, is just a small thing compared to what we are possibly going to miss if we are not taking this thing very serious. So I say to you, it's no better way to take this any more serious than to respect each individual as we ourselves want to be respected by one another and how we want to be respected by God. Well, and I say to you, what does that basically mean? It means living on this life being happy, living on this earth being thrilled, excited about life, having something to do, a purpose for being here, not just here, but a purpose, something that we can engage ourselves in that gives us purpose, that gives us a pride, not the overwhelming pride, but excited about being who we are. And that this thing is structured just as the grass grows from the earth. It is structured that when we operate as human beings in such accordance with such compassion for and respect for the power that we can't see, and honoring that power by dealing with each other as though that power existed in each of us, then the outcome of that would be peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of our lives. And that, my friends, basically means that you and I, starting in 21 now, is that the thing that we engage ourselves in as human beings become our purpose. Those things that are essential for our survival, our number one purpose. Those things that add to that, our number one purpose. And those things that gives us the best of life, our number one purpose. That means that none of us, we must strive right now, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that hunger never exists to anybody within these borders. And we must do it in such a way that we got enough to overflow from our borders to help our neighbors. We must make sure that none of us, I mean every last one of us, got housing, adequate housing as we desire. We must make sure that we have access to education, unlimited and unrestricted. We must make sure that we have health care from the womb to the tomb and guarantee that to each other by engaging ourselves in that profession, in that career that gives us our greatest joy because we know what it is. And knowing that in so doing, we will never be absent resources. So that's plain and simple. And I'm thinking to myself, ladies and gentlemen, that I must articulate this to you in some kind of fashion to get you to understand that there's no better way of life that we can have. I don't care how much you go to church and talk about Jesus Christ and talk about the history of it. It has no value whatsoever if you're living in hell. If that has any value, it would show you how to get up out of this hell without dying. And yes, perhaps even dying, but dying to this system, meaning it has no more control over you. But the one that which you, my friends, have agreed on, the ones that you articulate not only in words, but in policy to achieve. And this is where we must be in the 21st century. We can't be 21st century also in year 21. No, my friends, we can't be just satisfied with thinking about what Trump is going to do. Trump can't do anything when we are marching on our own path. We're not worried about defending Trump. What can he grab? He can't grab anything. Why? Because our focus is not on Trump and anything that they're going to be trying to do. Our focus is going to be on what we're trying to do, and that is to bring peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life to every last one of us. And that means the fulfillment of our dreams. So I'm asking this, ladies and gentlemen, let us focus on that. Let our discussions, let our meetings be about that for all of us, not just can we raise money to do this, because this is not about money. And yes, come on, Duchess, leave me alone. Come on in. Man, it seems like when everything's going good, always going to be something. But I guess that makes sense. It's kind of chilly outside. Yeah, my friends. But what I'm basically saying is that these are the kind of choices that we have before us. Are we going to have leadership that's going to bind us to chains that robs us of our lives? Or why don't we allow the spirit of life to live within us? And let us claim leadership over our independent lives. And our independent lives is morally correct. Why? Because what we feel for ourselves, we feel for everybody else. In other words, we're not trying to exploit anybody. We're not trying to take advantage of anybody. We're not trying to lie, cheat, and steal, and kill, and create hatred and racism and bigotry. We're not trying to do that, because we know the way to avoid that is to treat people like we want to be treated and reject anybody that want to treat us any other kind of way. That virus can find no home here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us go forward. Now, somebody says to me, well, that doesn't make much sense. Our economic system will not permit. Well, if our economic system will not permit life for every human being, then that system has got to go. That system has got to go. That system has got to die. And we create the system that provides for each and every last one of us. Somebody says, well, if you take a person who's never had anything, that's lived in poverty, and if you open the door to them, they'll go wild. Yes, they might go wild. But they'll learn, just like they did when they started going to buffet. As long as they keep going back, it's still there. So they can stop running their tables over. Just go back when you need some, or want some, or desire some. Bill Buffett, the billionaires, can do, because of their money, whatever they want to do. But yet they are contained, they are controlled. They don't go and try to buy every car on earth. They don't, and neither will poor people who have the ability to do that. All they need to know is that they can do it if they want to. And brother, you can bet your last money, they don't want to. It's a job taking care of one. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about what I've said to you. Now, I'll be speaking a lot to you about this kind of stuff, because we got to change right now, and we got to change for the best. We got to change by the best, for the best, and we need the support of every last one of you. And so we need your support. Then what we are doing must benefit you as well. And it got to. Why? Because your hands are on the plow. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye.